Hey, what's up? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'm talking with singer, songwriter, record producer, and artist, Ben Kweller. Let's go.
That's my kind. I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
Bro.
What's up, bro?
It's been a minute.
I know, man.
I feel like last time we saw each other was like in a parking lot. Both of our tour buses were parked next to each other. I don't know if it was like...
Where was it?
I don't even know. It's just
so
one of
weird
those...
out there,
I
isn't it?
know.
You're like
I know.
such a blur. And I think the only places we've ever seen each other has been on the road somewhere.
Yeah.
Shows and stuff.
Exactly.
That's cool, man.
Do you remember the first time we met?
Was it at your show?
It was with Evan Dando and Ben Lee. No, pre-Ben's.
Pre-Ben's.
Dude, this was... And it was like in Maryland.
Didn't we play?
Yes,
Didn't
you
we,
came
like,
backstage. You were
backstage?
just starting.
Yeah.
So was I.
What
But,
song
like,
did we sing?
I don't even
Surrender?
remember. Maybe.
Maybe?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it was like, hey, there's these two brothers. They're coming backstage. And, you know, because you met us, Ben Lee.
Yeah, we were
You
huge
were already fans
fans.
of Ben Lee,
we were
right?
we were fans of all you guys.
Dang.
Back from like the first time I ever encountered you musically was Radish. And
There you
then
go.
after that, obviously all your incredible music. Like Sundress has been on like every
Oh,
playlist
dude.
that I've ever made for my wife. Like
Oh, bro.
all of our like we have, you know, our little playlist we make for each other.
Course.
That's like that one always makes the cut. Such a good you have a lot of those.
Thank you.
You
I like the love songs, you know?
That's right.
Can't help it.
Ben Kweller.
Yeah, dude.
The classic.
You know?
The classic
Yeah.
Ben Kweller.
I guess
But here
so.
you are.
That's what I know. New album dropping on Friday.
The album
Yeah.
comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh wow. How do you feel about the album?
I love it. I have a lot of emotions about it.
Yeah.
So it's been a crazy 2 years.
Tell me about it.
Well, Liz and I lost our 16-year-old son, Dorian.
I'm
in
really
a
sorry
car.
about that.
Thank you. In a car crash out of nowhere, just freak accident. Sent me into a tailspin, obviously. And now I have this album of songs that, you know, all of them are about it, but, you know, there's lyrics where it's a little indirect. But as I kind of look back on this album, I can see that they're all directly affected, you know, by this situation. And so I'm just leaning. Music's always been there for me. It's been the one constant in my life. And so this album's important medicine for me right now, you know.
From losing your son, which I can't even imagine. I didn't even have words for it, you know, and I thought about it today. I was like, I'm obviously going to talk to Ben about, or at least tell you I'm sorry.
Right.
But as a parent, I mean, I can't even, I don't know if there's anyone listening that has kids. I don't know if there's words to even try to imagine what you could say to someone who's suffered a loss like that.
I know. It's every parent's worst nightmare, you know, happened to come true for us. You know, I mean, the good thing is like, it's so rare. It's like, it's not going to happen to most people, you know, like, but it happened to us and I'll never forget that night. Like, it's just crazy. Just watching TV. It was, man, like even like the 2 weeks leading up to it, Dorian, who was also an artist, and he was so talented.
Yeah.
Started making music under the name Zev, Z-E-V, which is his middle name, means wolf. He put out 6 songs while he was here and has a whole laptop. Like, we're going to put together an album at some point. There's like hundreds of ideas and songs and on his laptop. But like the 2 weeks leading up to his death, he was so antsy and just like, he would come home from school and be like, Mom, Dad, like, I just feel like I can't fit it all in. Like, Dad, we need to be putting out a song every Friday, you know? And I was like, of course I'm telling him like, well, like, you know, Spotify wants like, you know, 4 weeks and, you know, like all the stupid stuff that you know, when you're in the music industry. But he was just like, no, like, I just want to like, I feel like I want to go be with my friends, but then I feel guilty because I want to hang with you and Mom. And like, he was, I really feel like his soul was like preparing. And, you know, I don't know. it's
I don't think you're wrong. I think there's something very like cosmic about us that we don't give credit to, or we don't pay attention to, or give credit to, or even understand. But like there is like a wisdom in all of us that's deep, that's spiritual, that it like kind of makes sense to me when you say that.
yeah. It cracked me so wide open. Like I've always been pretty spiritual and seen signs, and I mean, I feel like when you're an artist, you are kind of attuned to other realms just inherently. I feel like as a creative person. But after this happened, it's like fully like my faith in like believing there's a God. Like I'm like, okay, now I get it. Like, um, so much.
Man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's the path that I'm on. Like I'm at this place now, 2 years later, where it's just all about gratitude and, just acceptance, and I had 16 years with him. He was the coolest, and I still have him. It's just like our relationship's a totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. How long did it take for you to, I don't know, make sense of it? Or come to terms with it? Like how long did that take?
Well, probably like a month in. I will say community, first of all, like that's the first thing that helped get Liz and I through this, and Judah, Dorian's younger brother. Our local community and their support. Someone reached out to us a few days after Dorian died and said, hey, I want to introduce you to another couple who lost their teenage boy. And they came over to our house, and that was really comforting to like meet and talk to someone else who went through this horrific thing, and it's like this really fucked up club that none of us wanted to be in, but we're in it. And so it's like, well, figure out how to live in that, that was helpful. Yeah. I mean, you're just in complete chaos. I mean, that's the whole thing, is like, you just realize how little control we have over stuff.
Yeah. And how's Judah doing?
Judah's good. Like Judah is super strong. Like he's going to make shit happen. And like, he's always been that kid. My mother has this belief. She thinks that we choose our parents. Like your soul before it comes down to earth is like, hey, we got like these parents in Ohio, they do this and that, yeah, like flipping through. And, maybe like
Swipe
Dorian's soul was like, they were like, well, there's this Ben and Liz, they're in Texas, and, you always loved music and want to be an artist, and well, the dad's an artist, and, you're going to be able to do whatever you want and just be creative and have this perfect life. It's not going to last long though. Like, it'll be short lived, but you'll have an amazing life. You'll have this little brother, Judah, who is, you're going to leave early, but he's strong enough to handle that. Like this is like this sort of movie we play out, me and my mom, and I kind of like it, it's kind of an interesting concept.
But I don't think that you're wrong. I think that there's like this deep part of us that's like connected to God.
Yeah.
That's like God-like. They say we're created in God's image. So like we have a God connection if we exercise it.
Yes.
And the more we exercise it, the more in touch we get with these intuitions.
That's it. You can choose to see what you want to see, Yeah. And like, I remember like being a kid, people would always say like, well, that's God's plan, like I always hated that phrase. I'm like, dude, that's a lame plan. Like, this is not, but then after this experience, I'm like, now I understand that phrase. Like, okay, like if it all is God's plan, you have to find the positive of it. And there are always positives. There's always something to be grateful for, even in
that is such a good perspective to take away. There are absolutely people who suffer grief for so long and they can't get past it, which I don't judge. I'm not judging. Like,
of course,
there are parents who have lost their kids who will never make peace with it.
Never.
For a lifetime. And, and we all love our kids deeply.
Of course.
I don't know how any of us would handle it. We don't know. Right.
Yeah,
exactly. But to have that perspective really like touches me, because I think about all the parts of life that we kind of choose our worldview on it. You know, we
Yep.
choose our bias on it.
Totally.
And everybody listening could take this into something that they're choosing to see as a negative thing.
Totally.
And you're talking about the worst possible thing that could happen to someone, right?
Yep.
And you're actually sitting here across from me telling me this like really positive perspective on it, which
It's wild that I'm even having that philosophy.
how long did it
I didn't
take
see
you
that
to
happening.
get? How long did it take
I'm
you to
trying
get to
think.
that?
I
Was it music? Did music
Bro,
come and start
it
opening
all,
you up?
Yes. I mean, it was all that. So like, I will say like my baseline vibe is optimistic.
Yeah.
You know me,
I
like
believe
I'm
that.
like, you know, I've always seen the cup completely teetering over and dripping onto the table. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
and so like, and that goes back to the whole, like my mom's whole thing. Like I was maybe equipped for this, you know, like there's this other phrase, like, you know, that they say, you know, God only gives us things we can handle.
Right. I believe that
And
too.
I'm like, yo, okay, well, this is pretty messed up that like, this is what was given to me, but maybe it was in my makeup because it was all written and it was supposed to go down this way. And so being that type of personality going into it probably has helped. The music piece completely, I mean, that's been my therapy, and just also, you know, because we would do music together, Dorian and I, like I'd hear him in his bedroom. He'd be making beats on FL Studio. And
yeah. My son does FL.
oh, it's so cool. I
It's
know.
so great.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And
They're good too,
They're
these
so
kids.
good. I know.
They're so good.
So good. And I'd go in there and we'd talk about song structure and ideas and stuff. And you know, then when he started playing guitar and writing lyrics and finding his voice, I mean, that was really kind of the last piece for him as an artist, was like when he found his voice, when he was like 14 or 15. And it's similar to mine. There's definitely like a Kweller thing, you know, when people hear it, like the genes thing.
Y'all put the Quell in
DNA.
Kweller.
It's got the Quell.
Yeah.
There, yeah. But his voice is like a little lower than mine. Like it's like sultry
Right.
and kind of raspy. I don't know. It's a really cool voice. And there was actually this one song, I heard him singing this chorus, and I went into his bedroom. I'm like, dude, what's that? Like, that's sick. And it's like, yeah, it's a song I'm working on. And we kind of sat down and jammed on it a little bit. And he never finished it because he died like a month later. And the song is called Trapped. And so I finished it.
Oh.
Like, and it's on the album that comes out on Friday. So
Your favorite song.
it's one of my favorites on the album. So it's like,
Oh my God, man.
like singing it, like I can hear him, you know, and it's just, and you know, like when you co-write with people, like what's so exciting about that is like the things they come up with that you never would have,
Yeah.
you know, and that it's like this beautiful thing. And so like just little turns of phrase that I never would have done that he did. And it's just like, so him, you know, oh.
It's how you
So good.
know someone's an artist. When you co-write with a career songwriter, that's one thing. I by the way, love those guys. We know a bunch of those guys.
Sure.
They just write songs.
Totally.
They're just builders of songs.
Builders.
And then you meet an artist.
Yeah.
And you do a co-write with an artist. It's a different thing.
Totally.
They do weird little things
Yeah.
and they do like their funky little ways. And
Yeah.
like, it's the same with me. If you work with me, there's going to be some little thing, just
Totally.
a nuanced little thing.
Yes.
That's the exciting part of working with an artist.
Yeah.
Cause
I
you're
agree.
like, cause they're like a little bit of like a star.
Totally.
There's like a star thing. Like,
when it's always, we strive to find something unique, I
Yeah.
think, you know,
Yeah.
where like a lot of times if your job is just to write hits, you're going to have to follow certain trends and certain things. But as an artist, we're like, you know, I want it to be unique. You know, it's like, and that's always the trick, right? With music, it's like there's only 12 notes.
yeah.
It's like you kind of feel like everything's been said, but how do you say the thing differently this time? You know, that's kind of what keeps me coming back. And like also, I feel like over the years, like I've been simplifying, or trying to at least, you know, just like those ideas. And
I think it's really beautiful. It's serendipitous that you get to go out and play the song you and your son wrote to the world
yeah,
for the rest of your life.
exactly.
And Not a lot of parents get to honor their kids that way, but I think it's really special. I think there's a lot of healing when we sing, when we play music,
For
when we,
sure.
when a song grows and you play it 100, 200, 300 times and it starts to take on this other
Yep.
shapes. And,
Yep.
and then people come up to you and tell you something about a song and how
Totally.
it helped them.
Oh,
But I think it's
the
really
best.
beautiful. You get to go do that. My heart breaks just thinking about you having to go through this. I really appreciate you sharing it because I do think that so many people are suffering loss,
Totally.
and to hear you talk about your loss
Yeah.
is comforting.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what surprised me as well, is like how many people are suffering loss and grieving. It's more than you think, because we're in our own little happy bubble, like doing our stuff, and like, but holy man, like,
And a lot of us can't share. Like we don't.
that's
have
true too.
the-
Exactly.
We don't
It's
have
like
the words.
I know.
You've always had good use of words.
Well,
And like, I think you're an open, communicative person.
Yeah.
Your songs have always been
Yep.
like from the heart. Feels like
Totally.
someone's writing in a journal a little bit.
totally.
But not everyone has that. It's
Yeah.
hard to find words.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's a really beautiful, or what's the word? It's just a really generous thing of you.
Right on.
I think it's like,
Right on. Thank you.
I think it's like the good side of humanity is people
Yep.
like sharing and caring and offering support, compassion. I think this is the highest vibration of humanity, is like compassion, and
Totally.
to show love to someone you don't know,
Totally.
to care for someone you don't know, to
Totally.
see someone suffer,
Totally.
and for you to feel their suffering if you don't know them. I think that's
Yeah.
when we're at the highest level of the human, evolution, is when we feel care towards one another, compassion towards one another. And, today I was thinking about it because I've obviously been a big fan for a long time. You know that. Maybe you don't know that. I don't know. But been a fan.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. Yeah.
And even when I heard about
Yeah.
Dorian, I can't find words to even. A lot of times, like I don't
Sure.
I don't grieve publicly when
Yeah.
someone dies. I don't know what to post.
Totally.
And I see something going on, and I want to offer compassion, and love, but I find myself at a loss for the. I guess it just feels so. I feel so much reverence to that moment of like what you must be going through. I have no words most of the time, and I always said, if I ever see Ben, I'm gonna offer him the best I can offer, the best condolences I can offer him, or just give him a hug, or tell him, how sorry I was when I heard it, how heartbroken I was when I heard it. But there was no good way for me to do that over text or
I know.
over in the internet. It just never feels right to me in those human moments.
I hear you.
Some people, it is right. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't
Some people can do that.
support people's
You
loss.
just gotta do you, right?
But yeah,
I mean,
but for me, it's just always hard to. But I remember that, and then you sitting here today, I think to myself, this is the most powerful version of someone going through the worst thing you could think of, and going forward, and showing people how to go forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's my way of going forward, and I'm just like walking through the fire.
Yeah.
That's what I've just been saying. I'm just like, I'm just walking right through it, eyes wide open,
And how's your wife?
She's good today, right now. It's like, it was always, one step at a time, one breath at a time, But like one thing I will say, like the three of us, me, Liz, and Judah, from that night, that horrible night onward, I mean, we've just been such a unit, talking about everything, and they say there's like no right way to grieve. There's no wrong way to grieve. Everybody grieves in their own way.
Yeah.
And like, so we would just like talk about our feelings, how we're feeling, some days you're just completely pissed off, and, she had a lot of like, I knew I shouldn't have let him go skate with his friends that night. It was a school night. I mean, I remember like the four of us were having dinner. It was like maybe 6 p.m. or something
Mm.
on maybe a Monday. And, we're like having dinner, and Jude was like, hey, I think I'm going to go skate with Dylan and the guys, because Dylan just got a new half pipe or something in the backyard. And so they were skating over there a bunch. It's like, I'm going to go skate after dinner. And Liz was like, well, Dorian, it's a school night. Like, and then she started kind of giving it to him, because she was like, like you have that test, later in the week.
Yeah.
Like, you really need to kind of like think about the future. You need to like study, like do your homework. Like, it was like a whole thing, like gave him the whole, like, it's time to step up your game, conversation. And he was like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm still going to go skate, And we were like, okay. And so then after we ate, he left. He's like, I love you guys. And that was it. Last time we saw him. And it was just like, there were so many things, like it was almost like his soul didn't have to worry about like studying or like, it's like, I don't even think he really knew the difference. Like, we would be having dinner sometimes, or Liz would cook something, and he'd be like, God, Mom, like this is the best steak ever. And she'd be like, honey, it's chicken. Like he didn't ever know the difference between steak and chicken, or like he didn't care, like political views. He didn't know Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. He didn't give a shit about any of those like kind of earthly,
different
mundane things. He was just on some other level of like, he was, and it's funny, like in second grade, he, you get like an award at the end of the year, like every kid gets a thing, and he got the Friend to All award,
Yeah, of course.
And we were like, there you go, like Friend to All. And that's kind of like, was always sort of a joke, but it was always like the truth of like how Dorian ran.
Yeah.
Like he was like, what
a cool guy.
It was a cool guy, like friends with like the band nerds, the skaters, the cheerleaders, the football. Like it was like he had no enemies. Everyone thought it was cool. He just did his thing. So anyway, I don't know. I got on a tangent there, but
no, it's a good tangent. It's a nice look at a special guy.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand someone that comes here for a short period.
Totally.
And then you think about it and you're like, I would bet you any amount of money that the amount of time that you got with Dorian in 16 years, probably a lot of parents, for lots of different reasons, and it could be they're divorced, or it could be they travel for work or whatever, or they're just not plugged in, or who knows, like every family's different. But I'll bet you the quality time you got was a lifetime of time, and it'll never be enough.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll never be enough.
But I feel that it was what I got, and I'm satisfied with that. Like it was huge.
I bet it was huge.
It was huge.
I bet it was special. I could see you guys, like together.
Yes.
I'll bet you're best friends.
Totally.
I think about that. I'm best friends with my son.
Know. Yes.
It's like, he's my guy. I don't know. I could just hang out with him and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. I just want to be near him.
I know.
And
I know, man.
He's cool because he's 15. And like, at 14, 15, they start pulling away and they have their friends in there. And like, it's fine. I'm not like getting in the way, but I just want to be around him. And he lets me sometimes. Like,
I love that.
He lets me.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like I know he doesn't want to be with me sometimes.
Exactly.
But he lets me.
Yeah.
Like, he'll let me drive him.
Yep.
Or he'll let me just get the extra hour of whatever. Like, he'll spend time with me.
Oh, it's so good.
And I know that's because we're friends. I know it's because he's like looking out for me, because he doesn't want me to be alone.
Yeah.
And the girls are always going to dance and doing this and doing that. And my daughter, I would say, is very much like this with Nicole. They're very tight. Yep. And even with her other extracurricular life, she lets Nicole come along a lot.
Love
and
that.
let her hang out a little bit.
That's cool, man.
But it's cool hard for teenagers to like let their parents hang around a little bit, because
I know
they're trying to get their own thing going.
I know. Well, I think it means we're cool parents, hopefully. It's like,
but I could see you guys like hanging all the time.
Oh, bro. I mean, he was super transparent with us. Like, and like all of this goes back to like, okay, well, thank good. Like I knew the password to his phone, getting on his laptop, and like, thank God, because like all the voice memos and like photos and, and I feel so lucky. And I've met like other parents who've been in this similar situation and didn't have any connection, and like how sad. So I'm another thing, like I'm thankful, like thanks Dorian, like for like just being open with me because it's helping me
What a guy.
survive, you know? So
And
your son's into music?
He is.
Doing the FL thing?
Yeah, he produces.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Does he rhyme? Like, does he write
No, he
lyrics?
just produces.
Straight music.
He doesn't sing. He doesn't, or so he says.
Okay. Yeah.
I've always said, I think you can sing, but
Yeah,
he's like,
it's
no
in
way,
there.
Dad. You're fucking
Okay.
crazy. He always says that.
Yeah.
Man, you're fucking crazy. I can't sing. And I'm like, I think you can, but
Yeah.
just keep producing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And he's more into like hip hop. So
Sure.
but very good. Very good. Like also hates when I talk about how I think he's good. Says I'm like glossing or glazing or so. I don't know. Like,
Glaze.
just
Don't
glaze.
glaze,
Don't
Dad.
glaze
Why
that
you gotta
shit.
glaze,
I'm
bro?
still working, blah, blah, blah. But I think he's good. I'm just like, yo, that shit is fire, dude. That shit sounds good. But he does it all the time.
Yeah. That's good.
And so
That's great.
we found a school that has like a really great music art institute in the school.
Okay.
And they have like, if your pathway is like the arts, they let you do a lot of that at school.
Love
And
that.
that's the whole reason we chose the school.
Love that.
So he's doing at least like 6 or 7 hours a week at school. He's doing
good.
logic and
Great.
that kind of stuff.
Great.
And so that's why we chose the school, because I don't know, I don't really care about school. So
yeah.
I'm like,
I know.
my kids,
Did
I
you
don't even know
finish-
what my
Did you
kids
finish
do.
high school?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost didn't. I had to go to night school basically and get credits.
Yep.
And then I got to March in the graduation. My mom was just like dead
That's
set on
cool.
me, like
That's good. Yeah.
like cap and gown moment.
Yeah.
So I had to go to night school and get credits for math or something. And then I had this science teacher who I was failing. I failed every class, math, science,
yeah.
English.
Me too.
I failed every class. So I could get credits for a bunch of them, but I couldn't get the science credit. So I had to go to him the last like 2 weeks of school and just beg him and say, will you please give me a passing grade?
Yeah.
Will you give me a D so I can graduate? And he did. It was very cool.
Nice.
I'll never forget it.
Nice.
He said, I'm not going to college. I'm not coming back here. I just want to graduate. My
Yeah.
mom's up
Yeah.
she's dying to see me graduate. Will you please give me this? I'll never forget it. And he was like, yeah. And then we graduated.
Sick.
I graduated with a 1.65
Hey,
GPA.
man, it's a graduation.
This
you
is like
know?
Indiana Jones.
Hey,
sliding
there
through
we
the-
go. There we go.
Slide through the boulder.
And were your parents musical? Like, are you from a musical family, or was it just you and Benji just all of a sudden had music in you?
So we grew up in church.
Okay.
So there was a lot of church
Music
singing.
around.
Yeah.
Church music.
Like 3 days a week we were at church. Like,
Okay.
just all the time.
It's a heavy dose.
My parents were very religious. So we weren't allowed to listen to anything secular, but my dad loved like Motown.
Mm.
So he always listened to like old records and stuff all the time. Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
And he was in a band in high school, like a soul band in DC.
Nice.
Since he grew up in DC. So
Yeah.
he was in like this soul, some kind
What
of
did he play?
keys.
Really?
Yeah. And so he never talked about
Wow.
it. He never talked about it.
Really?
Like he never let the artist side of him ever show. He was like he was an old school, like tough guy.
Dang.
Like worked
Okay.
labor
Rugged.
jobs. Yes. Very rugged. He worked in a slaughterhouse,
Damn.
like worked like all
But he
like,
could lay it down on key.
but
like
in high
piano?
school, he was in like a band and he played
Okay.
like keys, like organ
Like
or
organ,
something.
yeah. That'd be like the
Like
60s,
70s or
70s.
60s. Yeah. And early 70s, maybe. I don't know.
Do you know when your dad was born? What year?
52?
My dad was born in 52 as well. My dad's from Bethesda,
Okay.
Maryland. So kind of near.
Yeah.
north
DC.
of-
That's
right?
DC. That's DC.
Um,
My dad grew up in Southeast DC
Okay.
his whole life. And then he moved us out to like the country when he got married to my mom. He wanted like a suburban life,
Yep.
not a city life, because he
Yeah.
grew up, it was very hard.
Yeah.
It was like a tough place to grow up. And so he like tried to fly the straight and narrow. He also got into some trouble and stuff.
Yeah.
And like he was trying to be honest. So he married my mom, and I could see it. Now when I look back on my dad, I have a lot of love for what he had to go through
Yeah.
and what he had to do. He's gone now. So
When did he pass?
in 2019.
Okay.
And we had reconnected. He left when I was young.
Okay.
So he had a problem with addiction. So he was,
Yep.
he was in it,
Yeah, it is
struggling,
strange.
and
yeah.
And my mom, I think, was a handful, and they didn't have any resources to like
Right.
for any of it.
Yeah.
So they're just like
There you
flying,
go. There
just
you go.
raw dog in marriage.
Yeah. Wrong dog in marriage.
Just no help.
Yeah.
Nothing
no,
to help.
straight up.
So I always look back now and I go like, God bless my parents.
Yeah.
But they were a
Like,
fucking mess.
did the best they could.
So he grows up in the inner city, moves out to the country, tries to really live an honest life,
Yeah.
trying not to drink, trying not to, fight and fuck and do all that stuff. And as dirty as all that sounds, like it suits him. He's just like a rough guy, like, and you kind of loved him. Like if you met him, you just love him. He's just like a old school cool ass guy. If he doesn't have to be married and he doesn't have to like,
Right.
Sure, be square. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great guy though. Would pull over and help people on the side of the road. Would do at his funeral. It was so big, like so many people came and everyone had a story about something he did for them. He like redid their baby's nursery or remodeled their bathroom, never charged anyone. He was just that guy. He was like, he'd fix stuff.
That.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So musically, I think I got it from him.
Yeah.
But he never talked about it because I think he actually had aspirations or something.
Right.
And he never let that grow at all. He killed it.
Yeah.
And to have a family and try to do the right thing. And and then he struggled the whole time he was married. I think there were a few good years there, but then he just struggled with the alcohol and with the life, I think, that he was in. So then he left when I was young, and I was angry at him forever. For probably 20 years I was angry at him. And then I had kids and I was like, I'm fucking terrified. I think I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
And I did. Thank God. But I also had an amazing wife who was, and not to say my mom was an amazing wife. It's a different time though. My wife was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this baby first and we're going to focus on that. And then every time we run into a problem, we'll talk to someone. We'll go to therapy and we'll figure it out. And then we just started going down the road.
Great.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And it's been 18 years together. And it's great.
Love it.
But when I had kids, I realized like, oh, damn, this fatherhood thing is
right.
It fucks you up a little.
Real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So then I reconnected with them and I got 10 really, really solid, great years.
Good.
We had a really nice relationship. And actually like.
Had he been following you in your career?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like he knew,
He was
right?
so proud. He was so proud.
Okay.
But always stayed back.
Wow.
Never came out.
Yeah.
In the.
Was he still in the DC area? Like
yeah. I remember one time he called me and goes, hey, just want to let you know, I got a DUI last night.
Oh shit.
And the cop, he let me off because I got pulled over last night and I was drinking. And I was only about a mile from the house. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, but the cop, he let me go. He followed me home. And because he was a fan.
Exactly.
He goes, I didn't mean to, but and I was like, it's all good, Dad.
Yeah.
Please
use
don't
that
drink.
card, but don't
Please
drink.
don't drink and drive.
Yes.
But he was like that. He was funny, but he always stayed back. Like he never came out and made any noise in the world as it pertained to me, my life, my career, or my wife is a famous person, or my whatever. Like all the stuff people like seem to care about.
Yep.
Or make, news about.
Yeah.
Which we've always kind of just like navigated through and around and tried to like I get it. It's interesting when someone's famous and they do something stupid or they fuck up or you think they did or someone says they did.
Right.
Like I get the circus of it, the fame circus.
Sure.
We've always just tried to navigate through it and around it and find a balance of like, okay, I go to work. Sometimes I got to go get on camera and wave and some of it I like. I want to do that TV show or I care about that interview with that magazine or whatever,
Of course.
And there's like, I always say there's like an 80-20 thing. 80% of it you actually don't give a fuck about when it comes to promo and press and all that. But 20 of it you do. Like you find ones you really care about. You're like,
for sure.
And those ones are the ones that make or break you in the sense of like your perception of if it's going good, because you may go do a Rolling Stone interview.
Yeah.
And if a writer doesn't give a fuck it ruined the whole
Oh yeah.
aspirational idea of Rolling Stone for you.
Oh God, I know.
But if they care, it's magic.
Game changer.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh, I made it.
totally.
This big magazine cares about it. So, but my dad always stayed at,
Yeah.
like
Well, he was
was
just
not that guy.
He was a humble dude.
Yeah.
Just like you worked, you did your thing.
Wouldn't take
He didn't-
anything from me. I was always trying to offer him,
Oh,
like, I was like, Dad, you need to retire. He worked till the day he died. Worked hard.
damn.
Like hard work. Like worked in a shipyard.
Damn.
Like worked his ass off.
A lot of songs in there about this guy, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. And he'd always say, I'm all right, I'm good. I was like, Dad, you need to retire. Like, can we figure out something? Like, I know you don't want any help or anything. And he goes, no, I'm good. He's like, if I stop working, I'll die. And I was like,
Damn.
if you stop drinking, you'll live a long
Sure,
time. That's what I
that
said
would
to
be
him.
helpful.
And he'd laugh. Well, we'd always laugh about it because he was good. He was just, but we got 10 really great years. And I always think it's kind of a shame because when I was young, he was always working. But those 10 years are better than a lot of people get
That's it.
with
man.
their dad.
There we go again.
And it
on
gave
the-
me wisdom.
Yeah.
It gave me wisdom about my son. It gave me wisdom
Yes.
to enjoy,
Yes.
but also how to act, how to lay back a little, like what my dad did. He laid back. He wasn't out in the world telling stories and writing books, and he could have. What am I to do? Like
Yeah.
everybody's got their own
Yeah.
story.
That's it.
My wife loved him. She was
That's
obsessed
great.
with him.
Mm.
He was just a character. I told this story before. First time he ever met my wife's dad, Lionel. So obviously it was early. Kids were like 2 or 3. They loved him. My kids. They were like, grandpa was like,
Yeah.
he drove a 65 Impala.
Damn.
He was just a cool guy.
Yeah.
And, but he loved to drink. And, he showed up at Thanksgiving with a black eye.
Okay.
He got into a bar fight. First time he's meeting Lionel, and he goes, "Sorry about my." He's like wearing a pair of
Sorry
Ray-Bans.
about the
He's
eye.
wearing a pair of Ray-Bans
Yeah.
inside.
Oh
Black
my
Ray-Bans. He's always
God.
cool. And I was like, Dad, it's 5 o'clock in the evening, and we're inside. You can take them glasses
Yeah.
off. He goes, no, I can't. And I was
No.
like, he went, and I was like, whoa, what happened? He goes, you should see the other guy.
Classic. Classic.
And
Oh my.
Lionel loved him. Loved him. That it was, he's just real.
Yeah.
It's a real dude. But you think about that and you go, you know what? I wouldn't change it now. As a young guy, I was always angry. I wrote so many songs
Right.
about my dad, how much I hated him.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the journey a son has to go
No.
on and a father has to go on.
Yes.
We have to be our own men.
Yeah.
Some way, some shape, some form.
Totally.
And some stuff we're going to learn from our fathers, and some stuff we're going to learn from our sons.
Yep.
And
That's it.
when he passed away, I felt like it was the first time I could look death in the eyes.
Mm.
I'd always been too afraid. And it was the biggest gift he ever gave me was this like fear I'd always had that I don't have anymore.
Right.
I have a different relationship with it.
Great.
And it's made life that much, it's changed life. It's made life richer
Yeah.
because I don't live in that fear. But he went there. And like you said, like our relationship, it maybe sounds crazy to say, but it's amazing now.
Yeah.
Like it's my spiritual life
Yes.
became alive because my dad crossed over
Yes.
and like we are still connected. Like I
Yes,
feel him
dude.
winking at me.
Yes.
Like all
yes.
the good things he could never give me here. Like he continues to like wink at me all the time. Like I can feel
I
it.
love
Like,
that.
you know what I mean?
Yes, man.
Like-
oh.
It's just like blessings that I can't explain because it's not money. It's not anything that you think you'd want here. Like
Yeah.
you think you want a hit song or you think you want money or you think you want a bigger house. I don't know. You
Yep.
don't.
Yeah.
You want to
know.
be like good,
Yes.
like sitting here good.
That's it.
At what point do you feel like there was like a new normal that started to feel like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, well, few weeks after, so over the past few years, I've become really close with Ed Sheeran
Mm.
as friends, and he called me up a few weeks after. He knew Dorian as well. He'd been to our house and on the ranch and Dripping Springs and the whole thing. And he said, hey man, like, I know you're going through it right now, but I'm doing this tour where I'm playing stadiums on Saturday night and I'm doing theaters on Friday night.
Oh, wow.
Would you like to come and play with me on the Friday night theater shows? Like, and he had just lost a friend of his, Jamal, had just died. And so he was going through shit. And he's like, you know, I don't know if you even feel like it, but if you do, I just want you to know these dates are available. And I, at that point, wasn't even thinking about getting back on stage and playing music. But
it actually sounds like a great idea, though, when I think about it.
Well, and I said to myself, I'm like, well, at some point I'm going to have to get back up there and play music. And the more I thought about it, I said to myself, yeah, like I actually need this right now. And so we did this. So I basically went on tour, like, you know, maybe a month or two later, and they were emotional shows. And it was also one of those weird things too, because, you know, you're opening for such a huge artist. So many of the people in the crowd never heard of Ben Kweller. So I wasn't going to like bring down the vibe and be like, by the way, my son just died.
Right.
So it was kind of like this anonymous healing.
Right.
It was cool, you know, because like I was like, okay, like we're going to do the show. You know, when you open for someone, you're trying to win over the crowd and you're doing your thing. And,
you're like warming everybody up.
Exactly.
You're winning them over. You're also trying to be like a good house guest. Like whenever we open, I'm always like trying to like find my place to like be a good guest on someone's tour. It's a cool thing.
It's such a cool thing. I love opening.
Yeah.
So I did that tour and that I think was the first time that I felt like, okay, like I can still have the life I knew, you know, as a performer. And those were amazing shows.
Ed's a nice guy.
So good.
He's such a nice guy.
Real deal.
I don't know him well, but I know him in passing.
Yeah.
And every time I've ever seen him, he is such a sweetheart.
Totally.
He's a really like warm guy.
Yes. So real.
Yeah, he is. He is. And chasing those songs, man.
I know.
The guy loves to write a song.
Sure does.
I can see it's interesting with him. Like he's always been after writing a great song.
Totally.
And you can see it in him. He's like, he's never satisfied.
Yeah.
He's chasing down that.
You finish one and then you need the next.
Yeah.
You know?
It's cool.
Yeah.
A real artist.
Love that.
Yeah. What a sweet thing to be able to offer a friend.
I know. That was what one
sure
of the
he
things
got,
I needed. Yeah.
I'm sure he got some comfort.
Oh, totally.
In knowing that someone else who was grieving got to, I don't know, there's something about this thing that I think like, it doesn't matter how much success you have as a musician, at your heart and in your soul, you're always going to be like a band kid from a garage or like a singer-songwriter on a stool.
Yeah.
And there's some camaraderie in like sharing your thing with someone else who needs it for a different reason.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like out there knocking on doors trying to find tours to open. Like you're just not at that place in your life.
Totally.
You know, maybe 20 years ago, we were like, I'll open for anyone.
Of course.
Now I'm kind of like, what are the dates?
Yeah, exactly. When is it?
What are the venues? You know what I mean? Like you're just kidding. There's a lot to consider. And you're older and like that's just where you're at, right?
For sure.
But then there's this higher meaning and higher purpose and this serendipitous moment that arises where you're, again, it's an amazing, beautiful thing about music is that you and Ed have an organic friendship, probably steeped in musical camaraderie and admiration and all the things. Like when you meet another artist and you're like, yo, I'll fuck with you. You're like my kind of people.
Exactly.
And on one side, you're in this moment of grief. And on the other side, he's in a moment of grief. And all he knew how to do was to say, hey, you want to come on the road?
Right.
And like together, you guys like had some
that was
kind
our
of
language. Like that was like, you know, that's how we speak.
It's interesting.
Hey, want to go on tour?
Music.
Like, what else is there that we can do right now but play the shows, you know?
Play the shows and then like probably sit back and
sit there
stage and talk about stuff.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of healing in that.
That's it.
But it's funny how like music always kind of is there. it's so weaved into everything we
God.
are.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
So crazy.
How long have you been making music? Forget about recording records.
No, I know exactly. I was 7 years old when my dad said, "Hey, Ben, I'm going to teach you how to play drums today."
Wow.
I was like, okay. And so we went up to the attic and dusted off his old drum set. He had this old Rogers kit from the 1960s, set it up in the living room. Really, because he wanted to play guitar with somebody. And I remember him clearly saying, all drummers are frustrated guitar players. So you're going to be my drummer now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play guitar. So he set up the drum set.
Right.
That's for real, right? And so he sets up the drum set and, he explains, okay, Ben, there's 4 beats in music. You just count 1, 2, 3, 4 and go back to 1 and just keep doing that. I'm like, okay. And he says, okay, well, the bass drum's going to hit on 1 and 3. The hi-hat's going to hit all 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the snare is going to go in between the bass drum on 2 and 4. Boom, bop, dit, dit, bop, dit, dit. So I learned my first beat at 7. And for months, it felt like a year, but I was 7 years old. But for a long time, every day he'd come home from work and we would just play music. And we had a total repertoire.
Amazing.
We had like 6 or 7 tunes. It was like all Beatles, Hendrix, the Hollies.
So you guys were close.
Very close.
That's so sick.
Yeah. Me and my dad, super tight. And yeah, so we jammed. And then a year later, when I was 8, someone taught me how to play Heart and Soul on the piano. Dun, 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 dun,
Best
dun,
song
dun,
ever.
dun, 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 dun.
I can play it too.
Totally. And
Yeah.
I saw the pattern and I'm like, all right, well, what if instead of going to the second chord, what if I go to the third chord, then the second chord, then the fourth chord?
Now we're writing.
And then it sounded like Let It Be. And I love the Beatles. And so I was like, oh my God, so Let It Be's Heart and Soul, like Inside Out. I'm like, all right, well, what if I skip the second and third chord and go from the first chord to the fourth chord, then the third, And that sounded like a progression I'd never heard before at 8 years old. Meanwhile, there's thousands of songs with that progression. But I was like, wow, this is something new. So I started making up my own songs. Then I got a guitar when I was 10, learned an E chord and an A chord. Same thing, just anytime I would learn a chord, I'd make up a song. And Nirvana came out in 91. I remember I was like at the skating rink and Smells Like Teen Spirit comes on. And I literally had to like pull over. And I was like, what is this? This is the coolest shit I've ever fucking heard. And so I literally like skated around, I was like 11 years old or whatever I was, and skated around to the DJ booth. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he holds up the Nevermind with the baby and the dollar. He's like, dude, it's called Nirvana. I just
The
got
roller
it.
rink.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, and went and got that CD the next day. And so, yeah, like the Beatles made me write songs and Nirvana made me start a band.
Yeah.
So that's really that's like where I come from. Them's my roots.
Did you think like, I'm going to be an indie rock god?
Didn't think that. I mean,
did you
but
care?
I did aspire to, like, I wanted
like
greatness.
you had aspirations.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of like any kind of the difference between independent and like major label or like any of. I didn't know those things because like it was
bands.
all just good music. Like that was the category, and so like
Me too.
Like my dad, having grown up in Bethesda, Maryland, we only knew one person in the music business.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Texas.
Okay.
So my dad grew up in Maryland, went to medical school in New York, did his residency in San Francisco. That's where I was born.
And then you moved to Texas.
And then we moved to Texas, and he was the first doctor in this little podunk town.
Okay.
And so he was doc. Like literally like everyone's doctor in this like town of 400 people.
Cool.
And then they moved up the road like an hour to Greenville, Texas, where they still live today. And my 2 sisters live there.
Okay.
So Greenville is where we are in the story, And so.
And where are you now?
Basically Austin. Like I'm right outside. I'm in like the Woodstock of Austin.
Love Austin.
Yeah.
Austin's amazing.
Austin's dope.
And it's just
love
like,
it.
and especially the last like 5 years, it's gotten just insanely.
Oh yeah, totally. So I'm out in the country. I'm like 45 minutes west of town. It's like the Woodstock of Austin.
How often do you like go to Austin to town?
Maybe like
date night or something?
Yeah, like date night, or if there's a show, friends are coming through. Honestly, I barely leave the ranch, dude. Like I have like such a setup that
You
I'm
have
just
a
like,
ranch?
I'm good. Yeah.
How many acres is it?
30 acres.
Wow.
Which is like I mean, in Texas terms, that's like, they call that a gentleman's ranch.
Like a baby ranch.
That's little, dude.
Okay.
30 acres is little, bro, in
Okay.
Texas terms.
Right.
Right. But like
in LA, it's a lot.
In LA, that'd be like a lot.
That's a
But
fucking
and for
two
me, it's a
ranches.
lot.
Yeah.
You know, because I grew up in Greenville, which is a small town, and then moved up to New York, and really like started my solo career. Like after Radish, moved up to New York, and in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
and
spread your wings.
Exactly. But so then when we had Dorian, he was born in New York. We moved to Austin, and then we always, how you have like your little real estate searches, like
your
and
dream.
just your dream. And we always wanted like some acreage with some live water on it, maybe.
Yes.
And an old house. Those are like our three things.
And now house you fixed up?
Yep.
Oh, that's
exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
And so it's like this old Victorian house from the 1880s.
Sick.
And there's a swimming hole, spring-fed swimming hole on the property.
God.
So yeah, it's the perfect amount of land. There's an old barn on the property that we've renovated into a studio, badass recording studio.
Sick.
So when you're in the Austin area, you have to come down.
I would love that.
But yeah, so Dripping Springs is where I am. I go into Austin when I need to, or when I want to, but it's not. I'm good.
So
at home.
much good stuff in Austin.
There is. Great
Philip
food.
Lee.
No.
He has the restaurants like Nadsea Burger. Have you heard of that?
I know who he is, but I haven't been to those joints.
Oh, dude, he's a great guy, but he has like such good restaurants.
Okay.
I met him in LA because when he first started, like probably not first started, but like 10 years ago, maybe his sushi bar concept was like the first one was in Encino. And me and Nicole went, and him and his wife were working. They're like a husband-wife team. They were working, and we were like, you guys are so cool.
Love that.
And like we met them, and then we just started following. We became friends, and we started following all their restaurants wherever they. But Austin's like, I think they live in Austin now.
Okay.
And they like are all in on Austin.
I have to go say what's up.
And the Mothership is there, the comedy club.
Yep.
Have you been there?
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, really?
I dropped 311 came to town recently, an AWOL Nation package tour, and went out to that gig. And afterwards, AWOL, they were like, we want to go to the Mothership. And so I dropped them off out front.
It's like the best comedy in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
I haven't
all
been.
the comedians.
Yeah, it's hard to get in too. You gotta like,
you
book
gotta
that stuff.
you gotta
Well, they sell out, and I don't know like all the, the people running that.
Right. I don't
But
either.
I want to know them.
Yeah, I want to know them too. I want to go to a show there.
Yeah.
Because
We'll
I love stand up. But Austin's Austin's like the number one. Obviously, New York is New York and LA is LA, but I think Austin's like the number one stand up town now.
Okay, there you go.
I actually think it's like, I'm pretty sure it's like where
it might be. Yeah.
comedians go to Austin now to try and make it in comedy. It's insane.
Let's go.
That happened after COVID. Like that happened like during COVID or whatever.
Totally.
So that's crazy. So what a good place to be.
Yeah, it's good.
Centrally located.
Yeah, it's easy.
Country.
Get to New York, get to LA.
Get to Nashville. My brother Josh lives in Nashville now.
Okay.
Yeah. So we opened office for MDDN in Nashville like weeks ago.
Sick.
Yeah.
Right on.
So the record's coming out. Tour?
Yep, tour actually. So just did the East Coast leading up to the album release, and then hitting the West Coast after the album drops. And yeah, just touring. The shows are great. The band's great. No complaints there,
What do you hope this record like achieves?
Well, I think it's sort of what we were talking about earlier. If there's anyone out there going through pain and suffering and grief and loss, I really hope this album might have something for them. I mean, there's a lot in these songs, and just the vibe of it too, the way the album sounds sonically, and it's fairly stripped down, but it's super honest. It's like probably the most emotionally honest music I've made yet, and that's saying a lot because my stuff's known for being pretty emotional.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, it's like it's me walking through the fire, and it's just how I'm doing it. And as a result, if anybody else, if it touches one person, that would be great,
Isn't it weird, like at this stage in our lives, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, I'm older than you. I'm 46.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Not to say I'm surprised. But I thought maybe we were the same age.
Me
I always
too. I
thought,
thought
like,
we were too.
well, I always thought you've been around longer than me, so I always thought you were maybe older than me, but you got started so
Dude,
young.
well, yeah, like it was like the Radish signed to Mercury Records when I was 15.
Yeah.
So like that, what, you were 17?
What
that
year was
point?
it?
Yeah, well, 96 is when.
Yeah, I was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it just felt like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I thought we were the same age too.
Yeah.
What's funny is like when you came backstage when I was with Evan Dando and Ben Lee, they were like, hey, these two brothers are going to sing for us. And you guys say, I figured you were younger than me.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like the one at this gig. I mean, you guys
Give
were
us a
just,
shot,
yeah,
mister.
exactly.
Come on.
man.
Give us a shot. Just let me play one song. That's what we were really on. And Ben was so cool.
Yes.
Ben Lee is just like
Oh, the man.
pure love.
Total.
I love Ben Lee.
Total.
Let me tell you, Ben was on the show.
Oh.
He was one of my early guests. Ben is also, by the way, he has no idea because I'm not very good at articulating or communicating most of the time with people how much they've impacted me. And I'm also like strangely, I can't explain it. I have a lot of information in here, but it's hard to remember and get out in real time.
Yes.
So if I'm sitting
like
here
that.
and I could like go through your whole catalog and name all your songs, I could right here.
Right.
But if you were asking me, I'd be like,
I know.
I have
I'm
like a
that
struggle
too.
with it.
Yes.
But I
me
retain
too.
a lot of information.
Yes.
And with Ben, he was on the show. I fucking know all his fucking music from Noise Addict all the way, every record. And when I had the conversation with him, I didn't talk about any of it. I couldn't recall any of it.
I know. I hear
in
you.
real time. I think it's like the ADHD and the learning stuff that I have.
Can you remember shows and like tours? I'm not good at that.
No.
Like I can't remember any of it.
Can't remember anything.
Yeah. I call it jamnesia.
Yeah.
That's what we have, bro.
Some people
It's
go,
like-
remember that show when you jumped off the rafters and blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no.
No.
Or remember when so-and-so was there and they jumped on stage and sang with you? And I'm like,
No. Kind of remember the so-and-so thing, but where?
Where was it?
Yeah,
I can remember like the
Jamnesia.
moment of coming backstage.
Do you recall that now?
I
that
recall
mentioned
it, but I don't remember where it was.
Well, because it was a weird place. It wasn't like a club or a venue. It felt almost like a teen center. Like I just remember like the lights were pretty bright and there was like a...
Was it in Maryland?
It might, yeah, or Virginia.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't know. We'll have to
But I
look
remember.
But yeah,
because
and
I
then-
think we sang Surrender.
I probably.
But I remember going backstage with Ben and he was opening for Cracker in like 95 or
That's
94 or 90. I can't remember. 94, 95, 96 maybe. Maybe 96.
Yeah.
Had to have been 96.
Because he had already met you guys.
Because we had met. And we were fans because I was a fan of Noise Addict. Because they got signed to Grand Royal and I was a Beastie Boy fan. So I was just digesting anything that any band touched that I liked. Of
course, yeah.
And you remember how the 90s were.
Bro.
There was no internet like that. You were just like magazines and that band toured with that band. So you'd go see them.
That was it. Yeah.
And you want to meet them if they were like.
Yes.
So we would wait, try to meet people. And we had our band. So we had like our demo with our sticker on it. And we would like give our demo tape or cassette tape to people.
That's it.
And we're like in this band, Good Charlotte.
Yes.
We're blah, blah, blah. And then Ben was like one of the few people that was like, whoa, cool. Come backstage. And we were like, whoa.
What?
And then he had an acoustic guitar back there. And we were like, can we play you one of our songs? And he's like, sure.
I love that.
Now that I think about it, I'm like,
I know.
How many people would say yes? So we go, maybe later.
Yes.
Next time. Ben Lee.
Oh, man. Ben Lee, what a guy.
Ben Lee, I would tell you this. I don't know if Good Charlotte would have existed if it weren't for Ben Lee. And I'll tell you why, for a few different things. One, his early music informed, I remember Grandpa Wood.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Breathing Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Those records like informed my like idea of like
Good.
Songwriting.
Good melodies.
Like he's a songwriter.
Yes.
But then even more importantly, because I loved lots of different music, but meeting him and him bringing us backstage, it lit a spark that kept us going. And most bands don't make it. Most good bands that like kids that have talent don't make it because they quit.
Yep.
It's about how long can you suffer.
That's it.
It's just like, how long can you suffer?
It's the long game.
Well,
Yeah.
anyone listening that wants to be a musician, if you want to be a musician, you're going to suffer the entire time. There's never a moment where you're not suffering.
Nope.
Because no one will ever understand you the way you want them to. They'll never love the song you want them to love. They'll love the one that you like. But this,
right? It's always a different thing. It's the merch designs I always love are the ones that never sell.
Never
sell.
What I
mean?
It's
no
just
idea.
Getting comfortable with the idea that no one's ever going to understand you, and they're not going to like you the way that you want them to like you. They're going to like you this other way.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So like, you can't write your own articles. Or your own headlines.
Yeah.
But if Ben Lee hadn't, like, we were 16 or 17.
So good.
If he hadn't have said yes, come back and play him that song, and he got excited. He remembered.
It showed you that it was possible.
It was possible. We saw the backstage.
Like this
we saw it.
We saw the backstage. It exists.
And then it was like a moment of confirmation. Where it like materialized.
Yeah.
And we kept going.
Bro.
And no one could tell us.
That's the coolest.
No, like, it's not going to happen. No, we already been backstage.
Yes.
We're going to be backstage again. And so I give Ben a lot of spiritual credit. There's a few people like that I've met in my career.
Oh, yeah.
That they don't realize that one action, one word, like, changes everything for someone's perception of what's possible. You know?
So good.
He also taught me how to take the time to talk to some kid. You don't know who they are.
Exactly.
They might never make it. I don't know, like but I always take the time. The other night, this band reached out to me all the time on Instagram. There's like, and I'm terrible with DMs and Instagram and stuff, but I try.
Sure.
Every now and then I'll see a band and I'll click through and I'll listen to their music, or I try to engage. And I talked to this guy for 2 hours on the phone.
Great. Oh,
I don't know if we're gonna work together. I don't.
Right.
But I just thought his music is good, and he seems like a charismatic person. And I checked his stuff out, and he seems like it seems real. It's not like some fluke Instagram marketing thing.
Right.
It's like a musician trying to make it. And I talked to him for 2 hours. This band in DC, actually from DC.
Cool. Okay.
Called Hue.
HUE.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good name.
And they're cool.
Yeah.
He comes from go-go.
Oh.
So you know DC, the go-go scene?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so the go-go scene in DC is probably one of the most underappreciated, undermined, ignored, rich music scenes that has never been given its due attention.
When are we talking?
Anywhere from the go-go started, I want to say it started in the 70s, maybe.
Okay.
It could have been the 60s, but I think it was the late 70s, early 80s. This go-go probably started. 90s, it really got vibrant.
Okay.
Lots of, and obviously it's like a cultural music movement in DC, in the inner city. People from DC will love go-go. Yeah. I feel like it's never gotten kind of respect. That it's a real, like, I look at it in the world music category of like, it's beat driven, it's big bands, but they write songs. If you listen to the great go-go bands, there's songs you can remember and songs that have been bitten in pop culture in rap. So like, go-go music in DC is like a well-known thing.
It's still a thing.
Still a thing. And
Hugh's part of that.
So this band, Hugh, the singer, came up in the go-go scene, played in some bands. And then, but he's a rock fan, so he plays rock music. So he started a rock band called Hugh, but he's got elements of go-go you can kind of hear in the music, and he wants to bring it even more. But a go-go band, this could be like 12 members.
Yeah.
It's very hard to make money.
Who's like the most famous go-go artist from that scene?
So there was
Chuck Brown.
Yeah, so Chuck Brown. But there was like Junkyard, Backyard Band, Backyard Band. There was Huckabucks. There was Rare Essence, the Northeast Groovers. There's new ones. I think there's one called like New Vision, maybe. Anyway, so I saw this kid's Instagram, and he has some flavors of go-go on there, and then we talked on the phone, and he was telling me about his his musical background, And I thought it was so great. And so I really hope their band continues to make music, because I
I'm
think
gonna
that
look them
there's
up.
it's very early. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I told him that. I was like, you guys need
Yeah.
to like, you know, get a record or two under your belt.
Yeah.
And but like they definitely got something. And the idea that they're incorporating this like go-go music a little bit into theirs makes me excited, because I feel like it's one little world of music that I've always known about and loved and kind of like had an affection for, coming from DC, that I've never been able to talk
harness
about or engage in or support.
Well, that's dope. I mean, that's you paying it forward to this kid and thinking
that's
about
Ben
Ben
Lee.
Lee. I know. Well, that's the thing. And it's incredible to have those mentors in our lives, you know, people and angels, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
but
they
like, just
they
people
touch
that,
you.
yes. And man, just something small can be so huge. It's great.
It really goes back to our perception of time. We think we need 50 years. What if 5 minutes was a lifetime of wisdom? What if Ben Lee bringing us backstage for that 15 to 20 minute thing? What if me and Ben's relationship was only 20 minutes? Or what if it's been longer than that? But like,
sure, yeah.
If we take away our perception of time as this thing that like, I think we would waste less. I think we would waste none.
That's right.
I think if we actually thought about the impact of moments that we
quality over quantity all day, you know?
And song. What if one song's enough? What if we don't need to write 200? What if one song?
True. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
We always get quantity.
Yeah, I know there's a quantity thing. I don't like that. And especially these days with like digital music distribution, you know, and like playlisting, and I see so many young artists. There's definitely a desire or like a pressure to feel like you need to put out. It's almost like so single driven, you know, and I'm such an album person.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, it's like, just try to put out your best music. You know, don't just put out music, you know, we got enough music, you know, curate it a little bit.
What's the name of the album?
It's called Cover the Mirrors, which is, it comes from a Jewish tradition, actually, of mourning. One of the things you do after someone dies for 7 days, you have to cover all the mirrors in your household. You're not supposed to see yourself. Like you're supposed to just get rid of your ego. You're at the lowest of the low. I thought that was a cool album title too.
Deep.
It's deep, but it's, you know, it's like got a lot to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Cover the Mirrors, May 30th, which would have been Dorian's 19th birthday.
Oh.
So that's also woven in.
Yeah.
You know, just to add a little more magic to the release day for me and my fam, you know.
That's it. That's all that matters. That's what this whole thing is about. But I think something magical is around you. I feel it.
I feel something too.
Dude,
like, I'll just say it. I mean, it's you know, there's good things happening around this release that, you know, are different.
Yeah.
And I'm just riding it and enjoying this wave and thinking about Dorian every second.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny, like after he died, like I'd walk over. Well, this is a kind of a crazy, I don't know where we are in time, but
we're good.
Kind of two stories. Dorian's buried on our property.
Wow.
Which is, we have a family cemetery there. God, how do I weave this? Basically, all I was going to say related to the album is shortly after he died, I'd like go and sit at his grave, and I'd just be like, Dorian, like bring me some songs, dude. Like, come on, like, you know, like send me like tears, just like, you know, and yeah, like he like co-wrote this whole thing. I feel like, you know, it's pretty cool.
It's real, dude.
It's real. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had a dream about my dad. And it was so vivid. It was him visiting me. I know it. I told my wife, I was like, I think
it was a visit.
It's like, do you believe people visit you in your dream? Like, cause you're in like you're in your like, when we're unconscious, we're in our conscious state.
Yes.
So that's why I always tell people, like, careful with your thoughts, control them.
Yeah.
because they turn the dial on your consciousness. And then if we can set our thoughts to positive and joy and love and compassion, then when we go to sleep, our consciousness is running on love, joy, compassion.
Yes.
If we're focused on the worry and the terrible things that are going to happen, or how nothing's working for us, or how hard everything is, our subconscious is going to run on that. And our subconscious is actually smart enough to also pull us out of that too. So our subconscious is our wisdom. So if we can control our consciousness in what we're consciously thinking, we can control our level of consciousness that's driven by our most conscious, most wise part, which is our subconscious. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So master your thoughts.
Yeah.
And so anyways, in your dreams is is actually like your subconscious is at work. It's healing your body. It's giving you rest. It's doing all the things it needs to do so that when you get back awake, you can function.
Yep.
Anyway, so my dad came to me in a dream and he was like, "It's great here. Check this out." Boom, boom. And he was changing outfits.
That's awesome.
He was like, "Check this out, man."
Boom.
And it was him. He was like, "Check this out, man. You're going to love this." Boom.
I'm good.
Boom. And then he's like, "Watch this." And he was like, so check this out. He was like, "Watch this." And he was like, boom. And behind him, the scene changed and he was somewhere else. And he's like, "I can get around like that, man." And I was like, "That's dope, Dad." And he's like, "It's amazing." He's like, "It's amazing. Don't worry about me. I can get around so fast." Right. And I was like, okay. I woke up and I was like, that was so real. And I told Nicole, I was like, "Do you think that it's a visit?" And she's like, "Yes."
That's a visit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said in the dream, he was like, "I'm going to come say hi every now and then when you hear a song. It's me." And the hair on my arm stands up. A song I'll hear will come on, and it's one of the songs you used to play when we were a kid. Now, these are big Motown
like
songs.
one of the Motown, yeah.
Like, "I Just Called to Say I Love You" was a song.
Oh, Stevie.
I swear, in moments in my life where I'm driving down the road or I'm somewhere feeling some moment of maybe sadness or self-doubt. I have a lot of self-doubt or self-esteem, low self-esteem.
Sure. Yeah.
Can I do that? I don't know. You know, Lil Eeyore sometimes.
Yeah.
I Just Called to Say I Love You would come on, and I'd be like, "Oh, you're just telling me you love me. You see it in a moment where I need someone to tell me they love me." And it's like so anyways, I think that the visit is a real thing. And I think like where I'm going with that was they travel faster than we do.
Yeah.
They get wisdom. And like, I feel it like this weird connection with my dad that is like so tight now. It's like I have a different remembrance of my life with him than actually was the reality because of where we're at now.
Yeah.
And it's like he travels fast.
Yes.
It's weird. Like I get little
just
zings.
Traveling around.
Yeah.
Changing outfits.
Even just like, yeah, do it. Yeah, do it.
I love that.
Like that's kind of, I hear him. Like if someone's like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I either hear, "Nah, man, come on, nothing's free." That's what he'd always say. Nothing's free. Or he'd say,
"Truth."
You know what I mean? He'd say, "No one's getting rich quick." Right? There's no get rich quick. He used to say things like that.
Yeah.
And in business and in work, I hear his voice like zing me on or like, "Yeah, man, do it. That's cool." You know what I mean?
That.
Like, so it's weird.
He's guiding, dude.
Yeah.
He's a guide.
But you probably get information. There's a stream.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You've had a wild career.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like,
cool.
It's funny. Like, I feel like I've been doing it forever, but it's like also like, there's no such thing as an old song now in the world we live in. It's like, I'm a new artist to like so many people that are just finding out about Ben Kweller. So it's like, okay.
Well,
right
it's interesting
I'm a new
because
artist.
the
Cool.
kind of music you make is very ripe right now.
Yeah.
Like the next
That's
10
true.
years.
The 90s are like pretty happening like that. It's kind of funny 'cause someone was telling me that the other day. They're like, "Dude, well, it's so cool. Like your new single Dollar Store, which is like doing so well. It's like so 90s, you know, and that's like happening right now."
Dollar Store is
It's
the single?
called Dollar Store. Yeah.
Great.
Featuring Waxahachie, great artist, sings on it with me. And, but yeah, it's very 90s. And I was just telling my friend, I'm like, well, that's cool that I guess the 90s are happening because I had never changed. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm just like, I've just been Ben Kweller the whole time, and now it's like finally
You're
aligning.
the real deal, bro.
It's like happening.
Yeah. Like
So-
a lot of people need a stylist for this to happen.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
really? What?
I'm just saying, like, you could see that, right? You could see someone like come in and they're like the 90s
They would style it out.
The
No,
band
you
guy.
like, you
Nah.
like stayed on your track and the trend caught you.
Right.
You know?
But if someone dove into your catalog, it's exciting to me to think about that. I go, oh wow, that's
Yeah.
fun. You get to experience
They got a deep.
that music for the
Yeah.
first time. Think about this. The algorithms have really owned the last 10 years. If I would say
Yes.
like 2015
Yep.
was when Spotify really jumped
Mm-hmm.
off. And the last 10 years, you have to look at it like this. A new system, an ecosystem was forming and growing. And now it is fully formed and fully grown. So the algorithm needed to do what it's been doing, which is
Yes.
own our ears, own
Yes.
our attention. But now it's done. And you can see this in where music is right now. Algorithmic music, which if anyone listening that doesn't understand what I'm saying, is track-based music. It's created in your computer, on your laptop, usually through Logic.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other FL Studios. There's other ways people make music. That's track-based in the box music. I'm not criticizing it. I'm explaining what it is. So it's all zeros and it's computer programming.
Yep.
That makes a sound.
Yep.
That's a frequency. It's a frequency that is different than if we had live guitars plugged in
Yep.
and we're playing. And now what you hear a lot of is you hear tracks made in the box with live instruments on top. So there's a layered
Little hybrid.
Yeah. And then there's also the way we used to make records, which you make live, you track live, and then you mix and you can overdub and all that. But it's a live recording versus digital recording.
Yes.
So, and then if you want to go really back to tape, like we made our first 2 records on tape, we have the tapes in the closet here of the records.
Sick.
To tape is a whole different thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's all
that's one performance
analog
and,
versus digital. So
yeah.
So very crude explanation of like a sum of like music. The last 10 years, our ears have been dominated by algorithmic, synthetic music.
Yes. Quantized,
tuned, tuned, which is really pleasant sometimes.
Sure.
There's lots of pleasant.
It's got its place, for sure.
What I'm seeing now, and they're saying as well, and the labels are saying this too, because I deal with so many of them in so many different ways, is it's like it's gone off a cliff. And now everyone's digging for bands and singer-songwriters, and everyone wants guitars in their music. But also, I think it's going down another rabbit hole. I think people are going to keep digging. I think bands are going to go all the way back to recording live, to tape, or whatever.
Well,
I think it's going to go.
Separated the real deal from the not real
Back
deal.
in the day.
I mean, yeah, it was like you had to be good as a band
And
or
you
as
had
an
to play
artist.
live.
You had to play live.
And if you couldn't pull it off live, everyone's like, fuck them.
Yeah.
But
I think people just want real shit, man. Like they just want something real, you know?
I think it'll be a mix, but I do think that like the music fan at large, so like millions and millions and millions and millions of people are digging for something different for their ears. Like I think there's something that they're getting from live and bands and stuff that like once you go to enough live shows, even your ear gets trained different.
Yeah.
You see a band play live, it blows your mind.
It's true.
You see 4 or 5 guys on stage making this noise together.
Oh yeah.
It changes your life.
Yeah.
And that's why we started a band. We went.
Of course. That was it. Yeah.
And when we saw the Beastie Boys, they had a whole band on stage. They would play instruments. Then they would walk around and rap.
Yeah.
They did everything.
That was a cool thing. Yeah.
And that was, I think, also why Good Charlotte was always kind of like weird, never one thing. Because that was our first real like love was the Beastie Boys. Whatever reason, it was just like that was
first love.
You know? We sound nothing like them, but like they taught us there's no rules.
Yeah.
They did like punk. They had their punk stuff.
Hip-hop.
They rapped. They did.
Yeah.
So the 90s was like that.
Yeah.
Just like anything goes, try stuff, That sounds cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And now here you are with this record and tour. And I have a feeling you're about to go on like a real creative run and have some fun. And I think there's going to be a lot of magic in it.
Well, I'm open for it. You know, that's it. I'm just on the path.
Yeah,
just on the path, bro. Like, yeah, just it's all about love. I know it sounds so freaking corny, but
honestly,
like that's
how I
kind of
feel.
all it's about. And whoa, that's the song that made me write songs was All You Need Is Love.
Yeah.
John Lennon. I mean, I remember I was standing at my dad's turntable. I guess it was Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. And that song, All You Need Is Love. I was looking over at the piano and then back at the record. All you need is love. Ba-da-da-da-da. And then this progression and melody. All you need is love, love, love is all you need. That, something about those chords and that da-da-da-da-da.
Hits you.
And I
Changes your
started
life.
crying.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, tears are going down my face. This record's spinning. I'm looking at the piano and I'm like, okay, like this is what I'm gonna, whatever's happening to me right now is what I want to do. Like I want to make people cry through, like, this is magic, you know, the sound of this. And so then, yeah, I started playing the piano and learned Heart and Soul and the whole thing. But yeah, it is all about love.
Yep.
As corny as that sounds, facts.
Dude, it's so good hanging out.
So good hanging out with you.
I'm excited for the record, the tour. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for receiving,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, and like listening and hearing me out on it. Cause yeah, it's a lot. It's like it's not something, you know, I ever thought I would talk about in like music interviews, you know what I mean? But again, what do we know? Like, why even try to predict? It's like, this is the path I'm on.
But you're being yourself.
Being myself.
That's it.
That's it.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Thank you. Great to see you.
You too, man. Thank you for listening to Artist Friendly. We really appreciate it. If you like the show, you can also follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram at artist.friendly. And you can watch us on YouTube and Veeps. Leave comments. I always read them. See you next time.